What's your name?
My name is Frank.
Frank. Okay, fantastic. Have you been a lawn bowler for a number of years?
Yeah, quite long.
Really? How long?
Probably a little bit more than 20 years.
And where are you from?
Netherlands.
Netherlands. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, what's your name?
I'm David.
David? And
I'm Ken.
Ken? And you're all from, where are you from?
I'm from Ireland.
Ireland? Oh, yeah.
I can London. It's half English after a while.
Same for you?
Scottish.
Scottish, all right. Wait a minute, I can understand you.
That's very unusual.
He's having what's called a drive, so he's got it.
Welcome back to Margaritas in Paradise. I have a treat for you today. I have Colin from the UK, and he has a unique hobby that we're going to learn a little bit about what he's doing here in Thailand. All right, Colin, welcome to Margaritas in Paradise. Why don't we start out with you telling us a little bit about yourself, maybe a little bit of background information.
Okay. Well, originally I'm from the UK. I've been living in Thailand now for about 17 years.
Right.
And the reason I came to Thailand was primarily because I worked in oil and gas.
Sure.
Mostly in the Middle East,
Okay.
Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar,
Right.
a bit of time in Kazakhstan. And because I wasn't always in the UK, I eventually became tax exempt. So
I hear that a lot.
yeah, so it's a lot easier for me to look for somewhere else to live
Sure.
rather than go back to the UK, where basically my family were grown up, and I thought, well, it's a bit of time for myself,
Sure.
and I decided upon Thailand.
Yeah, fantastic.
You know, and this is, well, like I say, where I've been now permanently for the last 12 years.
12 years. Fantastic.
And obviously, being here, I needed somewhere to live, and I was looking around for opportunities.
Sure.
And I came across this beautiful place.
Right.
It was on the market. The gentleman that had it, he had already made it into what is a lawn bowling club.
Right.
Unfortunately, it fell on bad health. It got a little bit run down, and it's very difficult for him to maintain. Hence the opportunity for me to purchase, which I duly did.
Right.
And then I had to learn all about lawn bowling.
You weren't a lawn bowler prior to that?
No, I had maybe bowled about four or five times in the UK.
Right.
But nothing serious.
Sure.
And in fact, what I was doing when I played in the UK, it was what's called crown bowls. Very similar game.
Sure.
But not quite the same rules as lawn bowling.
Right. You came out here. Did you have to renovate this place, or did you?
Yeah, like I say, unfortunately, it was pretty run down.
Right.
It had old-style Thai bathrooms. I mean, it's a lovely house.
Sure,
The build is fantastic.
Right.
But the guy that built it, the German guy, he built it with only one bathroom for 5 bedrooms upstairs. So the first challenge was, how do we put bathrooms in?
Sure.
You know.
You live here?
I do now.
Okay.
I never used to, because I was still working, so I'll be travelling away, coming back. But
Okay.
I just let the place tick over, because he had a couple of good people looking after it.
Sure.
And over a couple of years, it sort of grew on me every time I came back, and I got to meet the people that come here bowling.
Right.
And I found out what a fantastic crowd they are.
Sure.
And I thought, well, if you're going to do something in Thailand or have a business,
Right.
why not make it this?
Sure.
You know, it's what I'd call a nice business.
Yeah. You definitely have an international crowd here.
Oh yes, we got people from everywhere. We have a lot of Australians. Obviously, we've got a lot of Brits,
Sure.
a lot of Scottish people in particular.
Right, right.
We've got people coming from Canada. We've got quite a few South Africans, and we also have Payong here, which is a derivative from the boules that get played throughout Europe.
Right.
So we get a lot of Swiss, German, French come in as well to play that.
What is that again?
Boules, it's Payong.
On the gravel here?
On the gravel here, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's a game that's played primarily in France and Italy, but they call it boules, and they play it on any waste ground.
Right.
But this is custom built with floodlights so that they can participate when it suits them.
Yeah, yeah, very fantastic. Do you have any history about lawn bowling? Where it started, or how long it's been being played, or?
Well, I do know that the first lawn bowls greens were in, I think it's Southampton in the UK.
Okay.
And we're going back, long time. I mean, it started, several hundred years ago.
Wow.
in
Okay,
England,
sure.
and it just over time,
Right.
it developed into the game it is today.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Somebody had mentioned out on the greens earlier, or when I was standing out there watching, that they're possibly going to be it's going to be an Olympic sport.
Yes, they're hoping to get it in the Olympics next time around.
Right.
And there's a good chance that they will.
Right, right.
Like I say, it's a big participation sport worldwide now.
Sure.
Like I say, I know international players. We've had international players from the US, from
Really?
from Canada.
Sure.
We've had a lot from Australia,
Right.
Malaysia, China, Hong Kong, India,
Yeah.
Brunei. You name it, they all play bowls.
Right. Now, as far as the game's concerned, when a guy shows up, do they normally bring their own balls, or is that something they?
It depends on them. A lot of people, if they bowled before,
Right.
they will bring their own bowls, or they're coming here for competition.
Right.
But most people, they don't. They've come up here to try it out.
Right.
They've come here to retire.
Sure.
And everybody keeps saying, "Oh, lawn bowls, it's an old person's game." So they think, "Oh, I'll go and try that out."
Right. I noticed there isn't too many people built like me out there. Everybody's pretty fit.
Yeah, it does keep you fit. And a lot of the people that come here are sportsmen.
Right.
You know, the golfers.
Sure.
Or if they're here, living here, they're generally going out cycling most days.
Right.
I think people have sometimes a false idea about Thailand. They think it's all going out to bars and partying and that.
Right. Right.
But really, it's a fantastic country if you want to get involved in sports,
Sure.
and especially participating in them.
Yeah, that's a great avenue. It's one more thing that's available to do it that takes it away from the bars. Now, you do have a nice looking bar in here.
Yeah, it's great. But like I say, bowls is a social sport.
Right, right.
The guys, they love bowling,
Okay.
and normally when they finish, they're in the bar, a few soft drinks, a few beers, whatever.
Right. And you have
And
food?
We have food, yeah, and we have regular competitions as well for the more serious
Sure.
bowlers.
Sure, yeah, that's what I was wondering about.
Yeah, and
So do you have leagues, or
we
what is
do.
that?
We have a singles leagues,
Singles league?
and basically there might be 10 people in the league.
Right.
Everybody has a handicap, and it's a race to 21.
Right.
So, for example, if I was a scratch player and you were say a 10,
Sure.
I've given you 10 shot start
Wow,
to 21,
wow.
and that's very hard. Be very hard even for me to catch up.
Sure.
You know,
Right, right,
so it makes it very competitive, and more people can be involved and know that they're competing.
right.
So,
It kind of evens out the field.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, better players are going to play good anyway.
Yes.
And
yeah.
so, yeah, that's the same way in golf. And,
Yeah.
You know,
And we also have tournaments, triples and pairs
really?
every 6 or 8 weeks, and they're very competitive. They run over either Saturday and Sunday, depending on the numbers of teams we have
Sure.
involved.
Are there other clubs in Thailand in general? Or?
In the whole of Thailand, there's I believe there's 5 clubs. There's 3 of them are local to here,
Okay.
but the other 2 are both Thai-owned clubs.
Right.
One is where the Thai national team practice and play from.
Wow.
It's an indoor venue,
Okay.
and there's a new one recently been built in Pattaya itself, in Jomtien, and again that's owned by a local businessman, but he runs it more as a showcase place for him,
Right.
and and he'll run some tournaments there, but it's generally not open to the public.
Wow.
But there is a fantastic bowling club at the Royal Bangkok Sports Club in Bangkok.
Okay. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, and every year it's a private club. I believe the membership is something like 1.5 million baht. You know what I mean?
Really?
So it's for the elite.
Very exclusive.
Yeah. But every year they have a big international tournament.
Sure.
And last year they had, I think, 92 teams competing. Like I say, from Hong Kong, from Malaysia, from Australia,
Wow.
from India, and you wouldn't believe the standard of play and the people that turn up.
Wow. Wow. Well, I could see just watching you and Joke.
Yeah,
Okay. You're throwing it. It looks like it's going way left, and right at the last minute it's going to curve right,
yeah.
and that sort of thing. There, I mentioned earlier about other people coming in with their own balls and that.
Yeah.
Are all the balls the same?
No, they're all different. I mean, they're all different sizes, obviously, because people's hands are different sizes
Okay.
to start with.
Right.
The women would normally play with a 0, a 1, or a 2, and the guys generally play with anything from 2 up to 5. You can get a 6, but I've never seen one.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know?
Okay.
But we have more than 50 sets, all different sizes.
Sure.
But more importantly, they all have a different bias, which means they have that and the bias dictates how much they swing.
Okay.
So they turn based on the shape of the bowl.
Yeah. So the ball's not perfectly round.
No,
like a bowling ball.
No, it's not. It's designed,
Right.
so it's slightly elliptical, so that it will turn one way, and then if you turn the bowl over, obviously it's going to turn the
The other
opposite way.
Sure.
So that gives you the opportunity to bowl on your forehand
Right.
or bowl out your backhand.
Yeah, I noticed that. And then when the ball stops, it flops over.
Yeah, it generally falls over.
We already talked about the international appeal that obviously lawn bowling has here, and the amount of people that come here. What type of levels of people are coming here?
We like I say, I have what I would call the very social bowlers,
Right.
and they come out just for an afternoon out doing something outside,
Sure.
and bowling can take you as long as you want it to. It can
Right.
be 20 minutes, half an hour, depending how many ends
Yeah.
you want to play, how long do you want to be out there. Some days it's a little bit too warm, and it suits them. They're coming out for a bit of fun, maybe have a drink, a few beers,
Right.
swim in the swimming pool. So they're the very social.
Right.
And then I have, like I say, I have groups that come out. You get small groups of people. They like to come out on their own. And I have like a crowd, I call them the Thursday crowd.
Yeah.
They've been coming here for 8 years, without fail, every Thursday morning, 10 o'clock. They're out bowling till about 12. They're in the bar, having something to eat and a few beers, and then they finish off in the pool.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
And again, they're quite happy, keep themselves to themselves. And then 3 times a week we have a roll-up, which always starts at the same time on a Wednesday, Friday or Sunday.
Right.
And the people who want to bowl competitively, or they don't have a group to come out with,
Right.
they generally turn up for that. And we just draw numbers to pick teams, play 10-end match, draw again, another 10-end match. And then we have a little fun playoff for anybody who's won the 2 games.
Sure.
And they play corner to corner, which is a very long way to bowl.
Right.
2 bowls each. Whoever gets nearest to the jack, they get the photo taken with the trophy for the day as the roll-up winner, and they get a couple of free beers.
Yeah.
So it just adds to the fun.
Yeah. Fantastic. Your bar is called
The bar is called the Soy Dogs Bar.
Soy Dogs. I noticed that. I have a
Yeah.
couple pictures.
Yeah.
Anyway, how'd you come up with that?
Well, I didn't. I had a few guys came in, again about 7 years ago. They'd never bowled before,
Right.
and they really took to the bowling and they enjoyed it. And they were nice guys, and they invited me to go out drinking with them in Pattaya.
Sure.
And apparently there was a group of about 12 of them.
Right.
They'd meet up a couple of times a month,
Sure.
and they'd normally go to one person's house and have a barbecue.
Right.
And two of the guys would sponsor the barbecue, so it was a free afternoon,
Right.
beers and food. They were looking for a bar they could call their own, and they called themselves the Soy Dogs.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And they asked Frenchy, said, "Do you mind if we sponsor this bar?" And it was really good. They came in and they got shirts made, Soy Dog shirts, and
I've seen them.
yeah, and they're great. And they even sponsored an annual tournament
Right.
over 2 days. And we used to get a lot, because they knew a lot of people in Pattaya,
Sure.
get a lot of people come in for that.
Yeah.
And it just stemmed from that, and it became the Soy Dogs Bar.
Right. And now, I was talking to Clive earlier. Now, do you have rooms for rent too, or?
We do. I've got 4 nice en-suites,
Okay.
which I rent. I don't really push the rooms too much. You know,
Right.
the greats know that I've got them there.
Sure.
When we have tournaments, if people need to stay over or want to stay over.
Right, right.
But generally, I keep them for family, friends, and but it's good to know that they're available.
Right,
Yeah.
right. The big question of the day: what's it cost to come out here and bowl?
Well, probably not as expensive as people would think.
Okay, okay.
To come here and bowl, it's normally 300 baht per person.
300 baht.
And that means you can come from 10 o'clock, stay all the way, all day. You get the use of all the facilities.
Right.
That includes your bowl hire, the use of the swimming pool, the changing rooms. You
Wow.
know, like you say, we have food for sale here anyway.
Sure.
And that's it. It's as simple as that. There's no memberships. Just turn up, walk in, and you'll be more than welcome.
Wow, wow. That's fantastic. That's good.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
so-
why I get a lot of them coming here.
Yeah, I bet. So that's very good.
And also we're aligned with PSC, Pattaya Sports Club anyway. So they've started their own bowling division now.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they do the handicap system as well?
Well, they bowl out of here.
Right.
And we have inter-club tournaments.
Right, right.
So,
yeah, I'm a member of Pattaya Sports
yeah.
Club, so.
So I can say we're affiliated with
Right,
them.
sure.
And they've set up their own bowling
Yeah,
division. And they sponsor the Interleague.
yeah. Well, again, that's fantastic. So somebody like me, if I wanted to come out here and learn to bowl,
Yes.
do you guys have instruction or
Yeah,
how's that work?
well, generally anybody that comes, I try and take the time out to spend a bit. I try and spend a bit of time with them because
Right.
I want them to understand how to play the game.
Sure,
And if I can teach them the basics, they're going to enjoy it a lot more.
sure. Yeah.
I always spend about 20-30 minutes with them until I think they're at a point where they can bowl.
Let them go and have fun.
Yeah, they've got the holding it right. You know, they understand the rules,
Exactly.
and it's great for them. They enjoy it a lot more if they're going to get near that jack.
Yeah. Do we have professional lawn bowlers amongst us?
We've got several players who are top level. In fact, we have, I think you met him this morning, a tall Dutch gentleman.
Okay, right.
He is a Dutch international. He's represented Holland for probably more than 10 years.
Wow.
And he's one of the ones, if the Olympics do come, he would probably end up bowling there.
Wow.
But he's
Fantastic.
played in the World Championships, all kinds. But we have some seriously top bowlers.
Sure.
And
Well-
we have a lot of international bowlers turn up here.
Right, right. You miss the UK?
Actually went back earlier this year.
Right.
For the first time for about 5 years.
Wow.
And I know it was primarily to visit the family and friends and that.
Sure.
I don't miss the weather. That's
Right.
for certain. and I thought there were a lot of things I would miss, but
Right.
in all truth, I found it very expensive. I found it difficult in that here most people are retired, so there's people wanting to do something every day of the week. In the UK, everybody's too busy working.
Right.
They only seem to go out one night a week, you know, maybe on a Friday or
Right.
a Saturday night, and yeah, it doesn't have the same social appeal
Right. I
as
get
it
it.
used to have.
Yeah. With that in mind, you have family in the UK, right?
I do, yes.
Do they ever come over to visit you?
Well, actually, I've got my son
Okay.
and his wife and 2 grandkids here at the moment.
Oh.
You might have seen them running
Yeah,
around.
fantastic.
Do you know what I mean? So, and my daughter will be over later next year. And,
Right.
But generally, I would say every year at least two
Yeah. Couple trips.
two factions of the family come out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
and
that's great.
they enjoy it because, like you say, it's handy having the rooms.
Right.
So they've got somewhere to stay.
Sure.
All they've got to do basically is get on a plane and
and
then it's-
roll. Yeah. If somebody from the UK is thinking about possibly moving to Thailand, Pattaya here, is there any preparation that you would recommend for them to do or anything in that nature?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of traps or problem areas that people generally encounter when
Right.
they come to Thailand, and I would say the biggest one is that they don't have medical insurance.
Oh, well, that's a major deal.
Absolutely, and particularly here because the hospitals are expensive.
Right.
They're very available, very accessible, and they're pretty good,
Sure.
but expensive if you haven't got insurance.
Right.
And
So, medical insurance, is that a must?
Absolute must.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of people come, if you know, even if they're only coming out for a few months at a time, and they think, oh well, if I get ill, I can just jump on a plane and go back to
Go back.
UK or America or wherever. It's not that easy if you have a heart attack or a stroke or something like that.
Sure.
And if you haven't got the money to get yourself out of the hospital once you're in there.
Right. Exactly. You hear about that all the
Especially
time.
if you have an accident, a car accident or something like that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I think it's, I would tell people, if you want to try Thailand out, always rent before you buy.
Sure. I agree.
Because there's so much opportunity. Once you get to know, look around, understand where everything is and where you want to be.
Right.
Most people, when they turn up, they start off in the big cities like Bangkok or
Sure.
Pattaya. And quite often they realise very quickly they'd rather be living outside of the towns where most of the expats live.
Right.
Because
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because ultimately you get fed up with the glitz and the 24/7 thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you need that bit of peace and quiet, and it's easier to dip in and out and live
Okay, yeah,
outside.
that's fair.
And the expat communities around and about are fantastic,
Sure.
and the housing and accommodation is way cheaper.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep hearing about that.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're in Pattaya or you're in Bangkok, you get too carried away with what's around you, and you don't look to see what really is around you.
Sure.
And it's incredible, you know. Even just around here,
Right.
there's 27 golf courses. You
Isn't
know.
that amazing?
Yeah, and you wouldn't know that if you're in Pattaya.
Sure.
You've got elephant parks, you've got the Buddha Mountain, you've got you
So
name
much.
it. You name it, there's crickets. People say, what, they play cricket in Thailand? Yep, there's cricket clubs all over the place.
Right.
You know, and there's other sports like that. We've got the polo, you know, the horse polo
right,
just
right.
round the corner.
Yeah, I saw another vlogger doing that.
We've got the biggest riding school in Thailand, two kilometres from here.
Wow.
You know, and it goes on and on, the amount of things. You can do, 5 water parks,
Sure.
you know, for the kids. And
Right. Yeah, I have another friend that's part of Rama Water Park, or
yeah.
part owner in that.
Well, we'll be going there Saturday with the kids.
Are you? Yeah. That's, you know, that rated like top 10 in the world.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been to the number 2 in the world.
Really?
That's in Abu Dhabi.
Wow.
And I would say this is not far behind it. I
Really?
mean, it's so close, you know what I mean?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Vegemite or butter?
Butter.
Butter.
Only butter for me. It's
That's
like,
only butter for you, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
How about beer or wine?
I'm a beer man, but I enjoy a wine with a meal. So
Yeah. What's the hardest thing to deal with living here in Thailand?
the language.
The language, yeah.
Well, and not that. You get the feeling that the Thais are quite happy if you don't learn Thai. You know what I mean? And also there are double standards to some extent.
Right,
You
right.
know, it's like when you're getting charged to go into
Right,
the fun
yeah, dual
parts and that.
pricing.
Fine, I get a reduction because now I've got a retirement visa here and
Sure.
I've got a driving license.
Sure.
So I get it at a better rate than the holiday makers. So again, but that's still double standards.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say that's the biggest problem.
Sure. So, if you had the power to change something here in Thailand, do you have any idea what you would change?
From a personal perspective related to the business, I'd say the public holidays when they stop all alcohol. Because what's the point of having a holiday when you can't have a drink?
Well, that's a good point. It's a valid point.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to add to this?
No, I think we've covered most bases. I mean, from a bowling perspective,
Right.
obviously. And I must say it's been very enjoyable having you down here. And I know
Well, I appreciate
Clive's been talking about it, and he's very knowledgeable about the bowls. So
that. Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. I'm eventually going to get an interview out of him some way.
I think you should. He seems that he's a very interesting guy
Right,
from
right.
what I've found out over the last few weeks that I've known him.
Sure. All right. Well, again, I'm going to get in here close because of the...
That's all right.
All right. But I definitely appreciate you taking the time to explain your property here
Yep.
and lawn bowling. And anyway, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give me a big thumbs up. Yeah, and then remember, there's a bell over there as well, that if you want to be notified of future videos, hit that bell and we'll be taking care of it. Other than that, come out to the retreat. It's on the dark side. What road is this out here?
It's Tung Klom Talman, 25/1. But if you just get a Bolt taxi and tell them it's Retreat Lawn Bowling Club,
Okay.
they'll bring you straight.
They'll bring
here
you straight out here. And you can pick up a bolt going back as well.
as well. Yeah.
That's great. If you're drinking and driving, you don't want to do that, especially here.
Yeah.
I'll put a link in the description below for the bolt. You can follow that. Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you being here. And again, have a good day. All right. And that's it. That's it. Yeah.
It's a great sport, you mate. You know, it's a competition on a...
Right.
You're American or Canadian?
I am American.
In
Yeah.
your country 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
No one understands.
Oh, really?
No.
You know.
I
So,
sailed around the world and just finished 6 months ago
really?
back in the UK. Yeah. I've met a lot of YouTubers with huge followings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm only at...
Up.
Now, apparently this is a grass field here. And, yeah. And the guys that are playing right now are playing on artificial turf. The area here is called a field, or what is it?
Green.
The green. Okay.
Green, it's made up of a number of rinks.
Okay, with the rinks. Okay, and that's where they're divided up by the blue posts.
That's right.